I spent 45 nights getting eaten alive so you don't have to. 45 nights, 3 different backyards, and one very confused neighbor who thought I'd started some kind of bug cult with all the traps I'd set up. Because summer is coming. Mosquito season is about to become unbearable, and everyone's gonna rush out and buy whatever overpriced zapper is sitting on the shelf at Home Depot without doing any research. That stops today. I tested every major mosquito trap and zapper I could get my hands on. I'm talking real backyard conditions, standing water nearby, humid nights, the whole nightmare scenario that makes mosquitoes thrive. I counted kills. I measured noise levels. I tracked how many times I got bitten anyway, because let's be honest, that's the only metric that actually matters. And by the end of this list, you're going to know exactly which one deserves a spot in your yard and which ones are just glorified nightlights that happen to occasionally fry a moth. Before we get into it, quick disclaimer. I bought every single one of these with my own money. Nobody sent me free products. Nobody's paying me to say nice things. If something sucked, I'm going to tell you it sucked. Let's start the countdown. Number 5, the Stem Flying Insects Fan Trap. This one surprised me, honestly. It doesn't zap anything, and at first that felt like a deal breaker. There's no satisfying blue light, no dramatic snap, crackle, pop when a mosquito meets its end. Instead, this thing uses UV light to lure insects in and a fan to suck them down into a holding chamber where they eventually dry out and die. Quiet, almost boring in how it works. But here's the thing, boring works. Over 2 weeks, I emptied the collection tray 4 times, and each time it was packed with mosquitoes, gnats, and the occasional moth that made a very poor life decision. The fan runs at a whisper, which means you can actually put this in a bedroom or a screened porch without it sounding like a bug zapper rave every night. The catch is range. This thing works best within about 15 feet, so if you've got a sprawling backyard, you're going to need more than one to cover the space. It also runs on a constant power draw since the fan never stops, so leaving it running 24/7 will show up on your electric bill eventually. And because there's no zap, no immediate feedback, it can feel like nothing's happening even when it's working hard in the background. For patios, porches, and smaller outdoor spaces where you want something quiet and low maintenance, this earns its spot. For anyone with acreage, keep scrolling. Number 4, the Thermacell E55 Rechargeable Repeller. Now we're getting into serious territory. The Thermacell E55 isn't technically a zapper at all, and I debated leaving it off this list because of that. But after testing it, I couldn't in good conscience leave it out, because this thing creates an invisible 20-foot zone around you where mosquitoes essentially refuse to enter. Here's how it works. Instead of killing mosquitoes that wander into a trap, the E55 heats up a repellent mat and pushes it into the air around you, creating a barrier they want no part of. I tested this sitting perfectly still on my patio at dusk, prime mosquito hour, and within about 10 minutes the difference was night and day. Not one bite for the rest of the evening. The rechargeable battery is the real upgrade here compared to older Thermacell models that ran on butane. You get roughly 9 hours on a single charge, which comfortably covers an entire evening of grilling, hanging out, or whatever you're doing outside. The design is compact enough to sit on a table or clip somewhere nearby, and there's zero smell if you're someone who's sensitive to that kind of thing. The limitation is obvious once you think about it. This protects a zone around you, not your entire yard. It's not killing anything. It's just making the area you're occupying undesirable to mosquitoes. If you want your whole backyard mosquito-free for a party, this alone won't cut it. Pair it with something else on this list for full coverage. But for personal protection while you're sitting outside, nothing else I tested came close. Number 3, the Gootop Bug Zapper Stem Flying Insects Fan Trap. This is where things start getting genuinely impressive for the price. The Gootop combines the fan trap approach from earlier on this list with an actual UV zapping grid, giving you the best of both mechanisms in one device. Insects get lured in by the light, pulled down by the fan, and anything that manages to escape the suction chamber meets the grid on the way out. I ran this one for a full week in the same spot my old bug zapper used to live, and the tray filled up noticeably faster than the fan-only trap from number 5. The dual mechanism clearly makes a difference. It also comes with a removable tray that's actually easy to clean, which sounds like a small thing until you've dealt with a zapper tray that requires you to basically disassemble the entire unit just to dump out dead bugs. Noise-wise, it's a step up from the silent fan trap, but nowhere near as jarring as the classic zap and crackle units. You'll hear a low hum from the fan and an occasional pop when something bigger flies through the grid. The downside is coverage area, which sits somewhere in the middle of the pack. It's rated for around 800 square feet, which is solid for a patio or a modest backyard but won't touch a large property. It's also plastic construction, so don't expect this thing to survive being left outside through a harsh winter without some kind of storage plan. For the price, though, this is one of the more balanced options on the list. Good coverage, decent build, and it actually catches what it claims to catch. Number 2. The Flowtron Bug Zapper. Flowtron has been in the bug zapper game for decades, and this unit is exactly what you picture when someone says the words bug zapper. Octagonal shape, exposed high-voltage grid, that unmistakable blue glow at night that makes your yard look like a UFO landed in it. And it works. Flowtron rates this unit to cover a full acre, and in my testing, that claim held up surprisingly well. I hung this one from a tree about 20 feet from where I was sitting, and the kill count over a week was the highest of any zapper-style device I tested. The satisfying zap sound every time a mosquito meets its end is either going to delight you or drive you slightly insane depending on your tolerance for that kind of thing. Where this one loses points is precision. UV light attracts a wide range of insects, not just mosquitoes, which means you're going to be zapping plenty of moths, beetles, and other harmless bugs alongside the pests you're actually trying to eliminate. Some studies have raised questions about how much these traditional UV zappers actually reduce mosquito populations specifically, since mosquitoes aren't always strongly drawn to UV light compared to other cues like body heat and carbon dioxide. So while the kill count looked impressive, I can't say with certainty that mosquitoes made up the majority of that count. Still, for large properties where you want maximum coverage and don't mind the classic zapper aesthetic and sound, this is a proven, reliable choice that's been refined over years of iteration. Number 1. The Dynatrap DT1050SR. This is the one. Out of everything I tested, the Dynatrap consistently delivered the best combination of actual mosquito-specific attraction, quiet operation, and real-world results. Here's what sets it apart. Instead of relying purely on UV light like a traditional zapper, the DT1050SR uses a combination of UV light and a titanium dioxide-coated surface that reacts with the light to produce a small amount of carbon dioxide, mimicking human breath. Mosquitoes are drawn to carbon dioxide far more reliably than they're drawn to light alone, and that difference showed up clearly in my testing. Over 3 weeks in the same backyard I'd used for every other test on this list, the Dynatrap consistently caught more mosquitoes specifically, not just a mixed bag of random flying insects. The fan-based capture system means there's no exposed electrical grid and no zapping sound at all. Just a quiet hum as insects get pulled into the holding chamber where they dehydrate over time. That makes it safe to run around kids and pets without worrying about anyone touching a live grid. Coverage is rated at roughly a half acre, which comfortably handled my test yard with room to spare. It's not cheap, and it's not going to give you that dramatic instant kill satisfaction some people want from a bug zapper. But if your actual goal is fewer mosquito bites rather than a satisfying light show, this is the device that delivered.